I just don't know what I'm going to do. I've been sourcing from thrift stores for 5 years now. I make a full-time income selling on eBay and Amazon. You know, I buy clothes, electronics, board games, books, all types of items, any and everything. I've learned about so many different niches and categories, and you know, I go into thrift stores all the time and I find products and I'm still able to run my business, but I'm worried. I'm so concerned right now because the thrift stores do not stop raising prices. It seems like every day that I go in, you know, the bags of toys are up 40%, the clothes are up 80%. And this is just over the last couple of years, right? I take a look at the electronics, the computer items, the kitchen items, they're up 100%, 150%. I'm worried. I'm concerned for my business because the way my business operates is I find most of my items from thrift stores. Hey, what's up guys? Steve here, Rake and Profit. I wanted to create that scenario because there's a lot of people out there having that internal conversation right now. And I've certainly gone through it. Now let's talk through this. What do we do when we've built our business solely upon thrift stores? 90% of your inventory, 90% of the products that you're finding to sell on eBay, Amazon, Mercari, so on and so forth is coming from thrift stores. And the issue that you have right now is A, the prices keep going up higher and higher. B, you're running out of time because the more you scale, the less time you have to be at thrift stores all day long. C, there's more competitors coming, so you're getting out hustled by the people who are running smaller businesses or side hustle hobby businesses. They're getting there at the open, they're there at the close. What do you do right now? You've built this business that solely relies upon thrift stores, and the biggest problem is the prices are too high. Like I said, there's more competition, you're running out of time. So let's talk about that right now. So, you know, first off, I want to say congratulations on building a business, making money, reselling. A lot of people like to talk about it, but very few actually take action and execute on it. So, you know, pat yourself on the back right now and congratulate yourself for coming this far. But now you've hit a part in the journey where you've got to figure out how to find inventory from other places. I'd also like to congratulate you on learning about multiple types of items, because a lot of people, they get locked into a single niche, which there's nothing wrong with that if you're able to source enough inventory. But a lot of people get locked into a niche that is working well, and then times change and they're kind of stuck trying to figure out how to get inventory. So congrats on expanding out to different types of products as in this little made up example right now. But what do you do right now? What do we need to do to make sure that this business sustains? Well, let's talk about it. So thrift stores are great, but they're getting harder. The prices are getting more expensive. There's more competition. It's low hanging fruit. It's easy to do. So the first tip that I'd like to give you is stop worrying so much about the prices at thrift stores. Stop worrying about the competition. Stop worrying about just the thrift stores in general. You have to figure out other ways to source products. And I know this is a broken record. I've talked about it a million times. And if you watch my videos consistently, you're gonna continue to hear this reoccurring, you know, statement. You've got to find other ways to source. There's so many different ways to source, but why do people get stuck in thrift stores? Because it's easy. It's plug and play. You walk into a thrift store, it's easy to hit home runs from time to time, but when things are working well, it's great, but when things go bad, you know, it really, really stinks. So what you have to actually do right now is take a couple steps back to take 5 steps forward. What do I mean by that? Taking a couple steps back is walking away from thrift stores to learn about something else. And I made a video the other day talking about when you start reselling, it's really, really hard because when you learn something new, like riding a bike, it takes 10 times more effort. You're fearful, you're scared, you don't know how to do it. You know, you don't know what's around the corner. And when you start learning about, you know, building relationships with libraries, or, you know, how to negotiate with thrift stores to get backroom access, or how to put out wanted ads, to have inventory coming to you, free inventory. When you start looking into liquidation and pallets, or maybe you start going to flea markets or auctions, right? Or maybe you start building relationships with clean out companies. When you start doing these different or practicing these different sourcing strategies, you're taking a couple steps back because you're not going to have success off the bat. You're not going to find a ton of inventory off the bat because you're trying to figure out how to work that system. You're trying to figure out what actually works with that. Similar to when you started thrifting, you know, you would go into thrift stores and you wouldn't find a lot of inventory because you only knew about maybe 1 or 2 niches. And then maybe you spent time experimenting with products. You spent money to figure out what worked, what didn't. You studied the sold listings. Maybe you checked out the Reseller Sourcing Handbook. links down below, right? Maybe you did all those things and you figured it out. The same is going to apply. So to make a long story short, let's take a couple steps back. Let's step away from thrift stores because we can't control the prices of thrift stores. And like I said in my other video earlier this week, the exception doesn't make the rule. You might live in an area where your thrift store is not increasing the price. Maybe you've got a honey hole. Maybe you've got a little mom and pop thrift shop that has low prices. There's a lot of inventory coming in. The exception doesn't make the rule because literally all across America, 90% of the thrift stores are getting more expensive. There's more competitors due to social media. Everybody has a smartphone, the information age. Information is easily distributed. But the good thing for all of us is we live in a world of sheep. I hate to say it. I'm gonna probably catch some flack for it, but you guys know it. We live in a world of sheep. What do I mean? Everybody's just playing the copycat, copy and paste game, monkey see, monkey do, and very few people, and I'm not here saying that I'm anything special because I'm not. You know, there's times I'm a sheep and there's other times where I'm thinking outside the box, but I try to think outside the box, and that's what we have to do together to make this reselling business work, is we have to stop being a sheep. We have to stop just copying the next guy, the next girl, doing the easiest thing, and think outside the box, building relationships, like I said, you know, doing things differently with libraries, doing things differently with thrift stores, doing things differently in terms of how we acquire inventory, right? Learning about different things to source inventory. We have to do things differently. Okay, that's the main point I'm trying to get across right now. We can't control the thrift store prices. We can't control the competition. We can't control the advancements in technology and the distribution of information, how easily it's widespread now and how everybody knows how to buy and sell. But what we can control is ourselves, and what we can control is how we spend our time. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. The only question is, how do you spend your time? Are you going to spend your time just doing what everybody else is doing? And while you still could get results going to thrift stores, you know, if I had to make a full-time income from thrift stores in Connecticut right now, I could do it 100%. And I could probably do it with mostly books, but I'm in a good area for that. But even with other types of products as well, I could definitely do it. It just depends how hard you want to work. Do you want to work 50, 60 hours a week? How much money do you want to make? You know, do you really want to scale your business? Do you want to turn it into an actual business? Or do you just want a job in a sense, which is you just exchanging all your time to make money? There's no right or wrong answer, but we can't control the thrift stores. We can't control the pricing. We can't control the competition. We can't control the types of products that come in and come out and the craziness right now in the world. We can't control any of that. So, you know, my advice to that made up scenario that a lot of us are going through is we have to take a couple steps back to learn about different ways to source. That's it. We have to learn about more products to buy and sell. We can't just be stuck to our single niche. So, you know, that's my advice right there. There's something that you can do right now, and that's to take a step back and to take a look at the big picture, to look at different ways of sourcing products, right? To learn about different ways to attract inventory. Because think about it. You know, if you're watching this video and you're in America or Canada or in the UK, there's so many products that are out there, and there's such an abundance of inventory. You know, in our business, it's quite simple what we do. We find inventory that we can get for less than what it's worth, enough room for profit. We list it, and, you know, we clean it up. We bring it to market to make it available for people to purchase, and that's how we make our money. It's very simple. So we have to ask ourselves, where can we get products? The products aren't just flowing into thrift stores. They're flowing all over the place. There's hundreds and millions of products. You got to ask yourself, how can you cut out the middleman, right? How can you get there first? The cleanouts, building relationships with real estate companies, foreclosure cleanouts, even building relationships with banks. You know, I've heard of people who have, and I've done this a little bit in the past, I never really scaled it, but for the clothing sellers out there, building relationships with laundromats, because what happens when someone gets a whole bunch of their nice Brooks Brothers clothing items cleaned, and then maybe someone passes away, or maybe someone moves out of town, or they forget about it. A lot of these laundromats have tons of inventory. You know, it might not be anything that great, but maybe it is a home run that they don't know what to do with. So maybe building relationships in that sense can help you to acquire some inventory. Thinking outside the box, not doing what everybody else is doing, not worrying so much about the problem. Oh, the thrift stores, the prices are getting higher, there's more competition, these YouTubers, these Facebook groups. Blame, 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 neglect responsibility, push away responsibility, point the finger at everybody else, copy and paste, do what all the other people are doing, right? think outside the box. So this video isn't preaching to you and talking down to you. It's just playing out this scenario of how most people are running their business, how most people aren't taking responsibility, myself included at times. You know, on YouTube, a lot of times, you know, people will reach out to me behind the scenes. You're so positive. You just really seem like you have your stuff together. You know, I wish I could be on your level. You got to understand, on YouTube, myself included, we're all just showing the good. It's social media. Everyone shows the good. I try to do my best to share my flaws and the challenges I'm going through. But you got to understand, just because I'm making this video doesn't mean I'm perfect. Like, I make a lot of these mistakes, and through the challenges that I go through, I share it to try to help you guys. So don't look or watch this video like I've got all the answers. I'm not. I'm working through it all. And over the last 8 years, I've realized that kind of, you know, blaming and doing what everyone else is doing and not taking a couple steps back and not thinking outside, that was the problem. So hopefully this is able to add some value. It's cold out here. I bet you my coffee's cold now. Got down to 30 last night. But keep pushing. There's a lot of opportunity out there. You know, reselling isn't going away. Matter of fact, if I had to ask you guys a question right now about what do you think the future of, you know, e-commerce and online sales and buying and selling online, what do you think the future is going to look like in the next 3 to 5 years? Do you think it's going to increase in popularity or decrease? Do you think that we're, you know, doing something that is going to continue to trend upwards or something that's going to fade away? What are your thoughts on that? I think we all know the answer. So keep pushing, keep fighting. Much love.